Hello everyone and welcome for another video. Today I'd like to share with you my tips for dance improvisation. But first, intro. When I started dancing, no one was going to tell me what I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to give you my 20% advices that will give you the 80% effectiveness in your dance improvisation. I'm Lamia Barbara and I've been teaching dance and yoga internationally for more than 10 years. I'm very passionate about dance improvisation because I find this kind of approaching dances so much resonant to how I express myself. Improvisation is the Holy Graal of dance. So today I'd like to share with you 5 tips that I'm pretty sure will help you to find your own way, your own voice in dance improvisation. It says fantastic life. It says that. Cardamom. Super good. The first tip I'd like to share with you is just do it. Don't plan okay, today I'm going to do this. Just find some time in your day or in your week to put some music on or not and start moving. Start moving without any specific thing you'd like to do, just trying to move in the space. So set a specific time, like 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or maybe if you have more time, 1 hour long. And see what happens without a specific frame. For my experience, the more you do it, the more it comes naturally. The more you try in your studio or in your room, whatever it feels like it's a good dance space for you, the more you try and the more refined this feeling of being fragile, exposed, with no frame, with no actual, something which is not set. The more you do it, the less you will feel uncomfortable with that on stage. So my first tip here is just do it. The second tip is inhabit your body. Even if we're dancers, most of the time we're dragging our bodies with no actual awareness of the body. So for this very kind of strange or weird tip that I'm sharing with you, I'd like to suggest 2 exercises. The first one, I call it the breath rivers. It's a visualization game. Just find yourself in your room and try to imagine that your breath is like water. So you can actually feel those 2 moments of your breath. The inhale and the exhale are like 2 parts of a wave. Imagine that your breath can move inside the body through many small rivers. So when the breath and this water-like energy is moving inside the body, then the body is moving on the outside. This exercise is very important to point 2 things. First, when you dance, when you improvise, try not to be too much focused on what happens on the outside. I want you to try to be focused on what happens on the inside. And second, but not less important, very important, is to be connected with your breath. We're dancers, so our body is our instrument. We are the instrument through which our dance expresses itself. So in order to do that, please try always to feel that connection with your breath. It's an ever-flowing movement which happens all the time. And if you surrender to this ever-present movement, then the dance happens more naturally. Might sound metaphysical, but I suggest just try. And that feeling of surrender, it's something to cultivate in your dance. Le cardamom. The second exercise, I call it the body, all eyes. And I got this idea from an Indian martial arts book, which is called When the Body Becomes All Eyes. Again, it's a visualization exercise. But when we visualize, we're not only like playing with our creativity, like in our minds, but I want you to try to visualize with your body. Your visualization becomes a feeling, an actual feeling of the body. So for this exercise, I'd like you to imagine, to visualize and to feel that your skin has many eyes. You can start from your fingertips and imagine and visualize that from your fingertips many eyes are opening and exploring the space which surrounds you, and then other eyes keep opening in your hands, wrists, in your joints, elbows, in your back, in your shoulders, in your knees, in your feet, and in your whole body. So again, we have two important things to get from this exercise. The first one, once more, is to underline the importance of not actually caring too much in this phase on what is happening on the outside, but care more on what is happening on the inside, cultivating that visualization feeling, connection of visualization and feeling in the body. And the second one, very important, is to find that connection not only on the inside but also with the space outside. So the space outside, we say outside, which surrounds the body, it's super important. My Indian dance teacher once said that dance is a love story with the space. And I love this quote. I very much love it. Sometimes it happens that we are so focused on what is happening inside or what is happening outside, in the meaning of what is happening aesthetically, like are we good, are we okay, is people okay, are they enjoying, am I enjoying, blah 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 blah. So much talk in our heads that we're not actually connecting. So this connection, this invisible thread has to be cultivated, has to be there. So when you are exploring the space with your many eyes, not only you are waking up all parts of your body, but you're also actually exploring the space, the lines, the depth, the height, all that surrounds you. And this can be very effective if you need to find inspiration for your movements while you're improvising. The third tip I'd like to share with you is nourish your creativity. Many times what happens when we improvise is that we go back into very well-known patterns. It's like, okay, I am turning off my choreography, rational, like preset part of my mind, so I just let go and what happens happens. But then this is not actually true, because we still keep thinking a lot in our minds, and we find ourselves doing our best things, or what we already know, what our body is used to do, really hoping that we're trying to give our best. So in your improvisation practice at home, nourish your creativity. I call this specific moment of your practice the art of controlled accident. Try to put yourself in some uncomfortable, uneasy, strange situations. What do I mean with that? If you look at your videos or your recordings of yourself, or if you're connected with what is happening when you dance, you will find that maybe you have some strong spots. So for belly dancers, most of the time, our strong spot for fusion belly dancers is arms. Our arms are super flowing and we're very good at creating beautiful shapes with our arms and hands. Also, our arms and hands are usually our best way to communicate and to also shield ourselves from what is happening in the torso or in other parts of the body. So one easy and fun exercise is to try to dance and improvise without your arms. I find sometimes myself like holding my hands behind my back and then try to see what is happening with the rest of the body. This can be one, but you can find many other variations of this exercise. You can try to improvise while you're sitting. You can try to improvise only with your head and facial expressions. You can try to improvise just with the torso, or just with the hips, or just with the feet. Or you can try to improvise just with your feet up and you're laying down. Okay, just you can be creative with that. And this is a very nice way to find new shapes, new ways of moving, something you actually didn't plan for. And here I'd like to point something very important, that when you're improvising, the most amazing feeling you can find is that you're the performer, you are the dancer, but you're also the audience, you're also the witness of what is happening. So it's like if you have one foot in two shoes. I don't know how to say that. It's like if you're on stage and at the same time off stage and you're watching yourself. It's like if dance is happening without an actual dancer which is thinking what his or she is doing. If you have a mirror in your house, play with that too. You can try to find some weird and unexpected poses and then trying to move inside those poses. But then the next step is to go away from the mirror and try to do the same without actually looking at yourself. One small tip inside the tip here. Remember that the gaze is a very important and energetic tool you have in your dance. Sometimes when we improvise, we don't know where to see, so we look down or we look, I don't know, something, usually down. Or we look, somewhere else. But remember that your gaze is a very effective tool. And most of the time, your audience is looking at your eyes. Even though you're doing some crazy things with your body, if your gaze is not there, it won't be very effective. One of the games I usually try to incorporate in my practice is also to give importance to my gaze. So sometimes I just put some music and try to improvise just with my eyes, or just with my face, or just with my gaze. So I give you many ideas, but find your own and let me know. The fourth tip is no style. When I'm improvising, when I'm practicing dance improvisation, I try to put off all that I've learned in my years of training. My main dance styles, which are fusion belly dance and Bharatanatyam, Indian classical dance, I imagine them walk away from the room. Walk away from the door and close the door behind them. So I find myself with no boundaries. I don't have to be or to do something which is required or that is part of a specific style. This idea gives you so much freedom. And if some element from your dance style training is coming up, because it's going to happen, is like natural, which is going to happen, it's not because you thought of it, it's because it's just emerging spontaneously. The last tip, the fifth one, is enjoy. All these exercises, all these tips are for you to have fun, to find your way, to express your voice in dance, and allow dance to express itself through you. I hope you found this video inspiring. If you liked this video and would love to see more, please subscribe. I have a Patreon page and I share my fusion belly dance improvisation ideas and tips, as well as many other tutorials, combos and choreographies. And feel welcome if you'd like to support my work. Thank you for watching, and thanks to all my amazing patrons which are allowing me to share more contents here and with better quality. Mwah! Namaste!